Now, an attorney representing a YSL trial defendant arrested.
Atlanta News First reporter Rachel Aragon is live outside the Fulton County Courthouse with this brand new information. So what happened here?
Yeah, Atlanta police just confirming to us that Nicole Fegan, one of the defense attorneys in the YSL case, has been arrested on several charges. One of those charges, you guys, being related to gang activity. A reminder, though, her client that she represents, though, has been severed from the historic trial involving rapper Young Thug. So what that means is she's not one of the main attorneys that we commonly hear from in the courthouse as rapper Young Thug faces trial along with his co-defendants. But still, this is a very big update because it's a reminder all these defendants we've talked about and listed on the indictment are being accused of being a part of a criminal street gang, and now we have the attorney of one of those defendants accused of gang-related charges. Of course, Atlanta News First will dig deeper into the warrants and this new information and bring you more updates starting at 5 o'clock. We're live in downtown Atlanta. Rachel Aragon, Atlanta News First.